let's talk about that sense of empowerment, that passion, that fun,
Mm.
how this all interconnects, because it's that simple aha, right, Jesse? It's like 80% of the problem is solved just by that aha before we even need to do any of the unconscious inner work, right?
Yeah. And just like solving that and like understanding that has already brought my energy up even more than it was. So it's just like, I don't know, this work is just an all-rounder.
Yeah, because I imagine now, instead of the guilt of leaving and the fear of what does that mean and it's actually now, oh, wow, like thank you, you've been a blessing. I'm now going to create the space for somebody else to have this freedom. I'm going over here.
This is incredible.
And that would work for even your listeners who are wanting to buy a new house, wanting to start a new relationship, wanting to start a business. There's all of that stuff going on in the past, and maybe it's like, why isn't my house selling? No idea why we're on this theme, but why isn't my house selling? And it's probably not selling because you're walking through the house going, oh, that's where that problem happened, and the gutters need to be, instead of actually going back to the original intention when you first walked into that house, like the promise, the hope, the wonder of what's to come. And if you can actually walk through your home, bringing that energy back to the promise, the hope, the wonder, when anytime that you have somebody new coming into the house, they're going to pay top dollar because they want the promise and the hope and the sparkle that's in that space, right? So
Oh my gosh.
this is what I'm talking about with manifesting is choosing a different thought, different perspective, and bring that sparkle back so that at the end of the day, yes, the gutters need to be cleaned, but they'll probably be up that ladder, cleaning those gutters, the hope, the wonder, the baby's on its way, like rather than, oh, the gutters. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Went
I
off
was
on a
just thinking
tangent.
the same. I was just thinking that like this is actually really, really fun. Not that I didn't understand that, but this work is really, really, really fun. Yes, you have to do the letting go and understanding and seeing where you are sort of being more negative about it, seeing where you are focusing on the negative side of it. Like you say with the house, like, oh, why isn't this house selling? But this work can actually be really fun. Like cleaning the gutters can be really, really fun. You're like, oh my gosh, like the house and this happened here and the memories and the beautiful times here. And it's like, oh, and then all of a sudden I'm getting all of this money and more that I even thought that I was going to get from it. This work is fun.
It is. That's why it's such an honor and a privilege to work with people when it comes to setting their goals. Because that's what I say to people. If you're working with me, let's set the really big goals because that way you can appreciate what's getting in the way of achieving that. Instead of restricting yourself and what's expected of you, let's do the really big stuff. The house is a really good example because I had a client who wanted to increase her business, manifest more money. Where is it? Why isn't it not happening? I said, well, if you did have that business, if you did have that money, what would you want? And she was like, I want the big house on the beach, la 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 la. And I said, great. The first thing that comes to mind, what's the worst thing about that beach and all of that? And she said, oh, well, it could be, I can't remember her word, but it could be washed away, it could get taken away. And I said, great. So where else in your life is that fear of it being taken away, the fear of the business being taken away, the fear of the money being taken away? It was this fear that was stopping all of the other manifestations from being able to show up. So the minute that you dissolve and resolve the fear, now as you
Mm.
were saying, like the blind spots drop. Now it's like, I can do this opportunity. And the universe starts bringing in the opportunities for, and actually that particular client, like she got a promotion within her business quite quickly after that session. So it's so much fun to know how quickly things can change when you do that inner work. So yeah.
Wow. Wow. I'm loving this conversation so much. And something that I'm thinking about right now is like when we bring up all of this, but like I do a lot of, abundance work. So meditations, gratitude, and journaling, all the things. And I feel like some of the listeners would do this too. And I do this for multiple reasons. One of them is just to like shift my energy, to bring me up, to get clarification on things, just to be in that great gratitude and an abundant mindset because I love being in it. It's fun. It feels really, really good, right? But what I didn't fully realize is that this is actually playing a really, really good part in something that I wasn't like, and I'm not realizing like anything that I'm manifesting, just manifesting in life in general, like manifesting a beautiful life. So that's really, really cool. And so for the listeners that do, some of these gratitude and abundant meditations and journaling or anything that sort of shifts, raises your vibration like that, then this is really cool to think about because if you didn't realize that you were manifesting a beautiful life, then you are. So congratulations.
Well, there's 2 points on that. That comes back to the original question of like, what if I'm having a down day and oh, Claire, is this impacting my manifestation? And yes, if you've got that desire for a reason and you're having a down day, where is my beautiful life? Why isn't it happening yet? All of that frustration. This is what I'm talking about is you have to go pull the weeds out. You have to go resolve the fear. You have to go back and resolve the root cause of the anger. Because typically someone will say, I asked for what I wanted back then, it didn't work, so now I better not ask for what I want now. And it's that limitation, that 10-second decision back then, I can't ask for what I want. That's stopping, like 10 seconds is stopping that beautiful, oh, listen to me, I'm getting loud. It's stopping that beautiful life from coming in. And it's like, can we do some coaching on that? Especially if you're working with a coach who knows exactly how to get you to that root cause really quickly. It won't take that long. But then the other point that I wanted to make is when it comes to manifesting, I actually don't meditate. So you may we may be playing semantics. If I'm feeling a little bit like my feathers are ruffled, I will go out into my garden and pull weeds and be in that kind of space where it's just me, my garden, clear my mind. But the act of meditation is actually, there's 2 parts to that. It slows down the momentum of the fear and where you've been focused on. And it does, if you can, bring in the upliftment of what's to come. But you have to be disciplined at knowing the difference. So the act of meditation slows down the momentum of the yuckiness, very professional, more than it actually being part of the manifesting process.
Oh,
Ah.
okay. So much to think about. Oh my gosh. Okay, that makes sense to me. That makes sense to me. Um, so rather like I don't know, when you notice that you're in that state of maybe a down day or like a fear is coming up, rather work through that fear instead of like, well, unless you're really good at like knowing the difference between it, rather than slowing it down with the meditation because that's, taking a little bit of the stress away, rather just like dig deep and just do it. Literally go out to your garden and pull that weed out.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's where I coach differently. You're not going to hear me ask anybody to meditate. I'm going to say, great, let's work on those golden nuggets. You will hear me talk about the importance of self-care, giving back to yourself, receiving that space that you've been giving to so many other people. Like we all do need to have that self-care. But meditation for me is not, if you had said to me, Claire, what's your manifesting process, especially in that car scenario, there was no meditation in that.
Mm. Yep, definitely didn't expect you to say that.